How's everybody doing? Well, I tell you, it's been really busy. Busy. So I have a couple of announcements to make and a lot of thank yous to give out. As you all know, the $1,500 close to 1,600 has been raised, and I'm trying to launch a new campaign. And the GoFundMe people are telling me that I gotta start over, which means that I lose all of my contributors who have contributed to the prior campaign that's now closed. So that means that you don't get the credit, and I don't want that. So I've been battling back and forth with the GoFundMe people to keep the campaign open and elevate it to the original $3,000 that I had it for, but I cut it in half. I don't want to do that. I don't want to eliminate the GoFundMe page and eliminate all of the work that I put in it to put towards the public, including the contributors. So I'm conflicted as to what to do about that. But I want to take the time today, before I go into the Sadomasochist relationship. And listen, I got my drink ready because this one is a doozy. A doozy. But before I begin, let me just give thanks for those of you who have helped me be able to get to the first stage of my production. Angela King, Angelina Elaine, Chiba Edmonds, Gabriela Tuna, Linstead Bruce, and his family and lovely wife, Martha Lechuga, Leonora Criswell, Sofia Rodriguez, Sabrina Gilbert, Samantha Folio, Teresa Thomas, Amira Palidore, Jafar Martin, Valencia Gibson, Denise McLeod, Garland McGowan, Keisha Ogletree, and Joseph Selman as the first batch, because it's a lot more. So I got to do the next batch, and I will contribute the other one, starting with Ms. Rosato. Okay? I want to thank you, you guys. You guys together raised $1,605, which brought me over the hump. And you're going to see how that is going to pan out. If you cannot come to New York City to see the readings and see the plays, then I will streamline it so you can see it. Either way, you're going to see where your money is going. And that, for me, is a lot of fun. So, having said that, now let's go into today's topic of the sadomasochist relationship pathology. And listen, I gotta get myself ready for this one. Baby, I gotta get myself ready for this one because this one is a doozy. I got, and I was in a sadomasochistic relationship, so if I have flashbacks, forgive me. And I survived it today, so I can speak about it. Let me get ready. I know every day is a party with me. But life is only one. We only have one life to live at a time. Okay. The sadomasochist relationship. What is that? What is a sadomasochist relationship? Okay. The sadomasochist relationship dynamic is the most darkest, complex, and most insidious of all codependent relationship dynamics and most difficult to identify. Yeah, because, we've seen movies, like Marquise de Sade, which is a simulation. I used to date a dominatrix, a female, and I used to be a dominant as well, and wear the leather, with the leather pants and jock strap and the straps on and the whip. I did all of that and tied people up and burned them with candles, and they paid me a lot of money, and these were like celebrity types that I can't really talk about. I told you I've had a life. But, those were all simulations of sadomasochism. Because trust me, to be in a real sadomasochist relationship, there is nothing sexy, sexual, or even attractive about it. You know, it really is a psychology of domination and submission. There was a group called Depeche Mode. They put a lot of great music in the early 90s. Okay, you should listen to the album "People Are People," which is one of the most popular albums. Depeche Mode, I love them, and they go at Toni Morrison, not Toni Morrison, Jim Morrison, from The Doors. He also sings a lot about sadomasochism, and so does Depeche Mode. And if you sit down and really listen to the lyrics, baby, especially Jim Morrison, ooh. That was a dark motherfucker. He has some dark thoughts, but I loved him. Loved him. His posters were on my wall. Instead of girls on my wall, I had him and a couple of other dudes. But not sexualized, but because I admired what they stood for. And these were dangerous characters, but mostly to themselves. And that's really at the heart of the sadomasochist pathology. Sadomasochism, to break it down, is the psychological need for you to be punished and to suffer. Somehow, the personality and the ego has decided that you should be punished and that you should suffer before you get to the pleasures of life. However big they are, or even however minuscule they are, getting up to go to the bathroom is a commodity and a pleasure. Even that is denied, where the person will shit on themselves and piss on themselves. I've known people that have done this because they feel that they need to humiliate themselves because they deserve it. That's deep. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sadomasochism comes in many, 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 many forms, and we are going to discuss each and every one. This is going to be a couple of parts. Now, it won't be 2 parts. It'll be probably 4 or 5 parts. This is the most pathological, darkest, and most complex of relationship dynamics to explain. And it has to be done with pure facts and background professionalism, which luckily I possess. And also the fact that if you have the same... I am so sorry. I just got a call. In vivo. How are you? Hi, good. Do you know that you're on the air as we speak? You are on the air because I'm taping, and I was waiting for your call. I can read you tonight if you like. I'll just be done in about another 25 minutes. But why don't you tell us what your name is? Because you're going to be on the air. I just listen. I'm a ball of fire. So you're on the air. Everybody, say hello to Miss Tammy. This is Tammy. So when I do the video upload, you're gonna see me talking about you. It's so wonderful to hear your voice. Thank you so much. Well, you're lucky we'll have a consultation tonight. I'm up till 4 in the morning. And if I could just call you back in 25 minutes, would that be okay? No problem. Say bye to everybody. Thank you, Tammy. She says bye, everyone. Okay, going back. The sadomasochist pathology is one of pain and suffering, and one that you feel that you deserve the pain and the suffering. It is extremely a dark psychology. Oh, Lord, give us strength. There is a psychological need to atone for your sins. Now, this might not be the case, but it might have been indoctrinated onto you that you needed to atone for your sins. So therefore, you got to suffer. And the more you suffer, the more you atone for your sins. So there's a religious undertone here. And we're going to go right in with that one too. In a sadomasochist relationship, the abuser seeks the abused, and the abused seeks an abuser. Albeit, this is not done with the conscious awareness of the ego. This is subconscious. This comes from deep in the soul. It doesn't come in personality and ego. It affects personality and ego. But that psychological deviation from the norm comes from a soul level, which means that people who are engaged in sadomasochist relationship dynamics are bringing this dysfunction from other lifetimes. This is not something that just occurred in this life. This is something that they're bringing from another lifetime, from a multiplicity of lifetimes that has reached a form of consolidation, and now it needs to be brought to a head. And then the sadomasochist pathology is manifested. This is the way of the universe to shake up the person and bring him into psychological self-awareness. Because if you don't know who you are, you can fall victim to these types of sadistic, destructive relationships. But only to the degree and magnitude that you possess that same degree of violence and self-destructiveness within yourself. And that's deep. Think about that. Let that sink in. You're not going to attract an abuser that's going to do far more than you're capable of allowing him to do to you. Because it is a symbiotic relationship, the sadomasochist pathological relationship dynamic. And it is so complex. So complex. Books are written about this. Theses and doctoral degrees have been granted for people who have cracked that code and tried to make sense of it. Because it is the soul's way of saying that they need to be punished and they need to be destroyed, which can destroy the entire essence and path of that being. Not involving it, not advancing it, but bringing it further into the whole. So then, what is the lesson to learn behind having a sadomasochist relationship dynamic experience? See, you have to ask yourself the bigger question. Why is the universe putting you in this type of situation? What is there to learn? What are you there to experience? What are you atoning for, supposedly, allegedly, you're supposed to be atoning for? That you feel that you deserve to get an abusive partner, to treat you and mistreat you. Well, the person who seeks an abuser, the person who seeks, let's define the terms, sadomasochism. Okay. It's two words fused into one. So let's define that first so we can get a clear clinical definition of the term and what it implies when we're dealing with human behavior. Okay, and this is something that psychologists, psychotherapists, and psychiatrists will even agree, because this is along clinical lines here, by definition. The sadomasochist, the person who seeks an abuser, is the masochist. The person who seeks someone to punish is the sadist. And both can exchange roles. The roles can be interchangeable for a variety of reasons and in various degrees of intensity. That in itself are books that can be written about. Because it doesn't have to happen in the sex. It can happen in normal life outside the bedroom. The bedroom is the worst case scenario. Because when it comes to sex, it's all about dominance and control and release and surrender. A woman cannot have an orgasm the way she really would and squirt all over the place if she doesn't surrender. I gotta use a woman as an example because only women are allowed to have that kind of multiple orgasms. Men don't experience that. So that kind of abandon, there has to be absolute trust for a woman to be able to do that with her man. If that absolute trust is not there, that woman is not going to be like that. She's not going to orgasm like that all over the place and be like that. She got to really be into her man, and she's got to know that she needs his trust. So imagine she doing that at the hands of a sadist, and what that would implicate, what that would imply. So if a sadist gets to know this woman that way, he got her. You all gotta watch a movie called The Burning Bed with Sarah Fawcett. It came out in the 70s. It was about domestic violence. And in the 70s, there was a lot of cases of domestic violence that was really, really violent, where spouses were killed by their other spouses. And Farrah Fawcett, the actress who was in that movie, The Burning Bed, brought that to consciousness in the 70s because it was taboo. No one wanted to talk about domestic violence until it was brought into national television and international screen by many movies that simulated that. There was that movie, The Accused, by Farrah Fawcett in the 80s, where she was brutally gang raped. And the guy said that because she was a prostitute, she wanted it. And it was a terrible, powerful, and very painful scene to see. Jodie Foster, who's a Scorpio, played the hell out of that movie. And that movie was very painful to watch, to see a woman get raped, gang raped, and be demoralized like that. And to feel that she deserved that. That's a sadomasochist setup. So it comes in many, many forms, and society also plays a role in giving us these signals of what is acceptable behavior sexually and what's not acceptable behavior sexually. It takes away the power of a woman to be able to do with her body what she wants. Where the man determines how a woman should use her body and how a woman should enjoy her body. What they do in Africa of the genital mutilations, where they literally take 7-year-old girls and they mutilate the clitoris so that she won't be able to get orgasms when she becomes an adult, so that she doesn't have an affair and be infidel to her husband. That is the worst form of sadomasochism, genitalia mutilation. When you Jewish boys are circumcised, that is a form of sadomasochism, because then God is saying that in order for this child to be legitimate, you need to spill blood and circumcise him. So, and religion is deep. It's deep, that sadomasochism. Because look at, I'm jumping the gun here, but do you see the levels that this can go? Do you understand the levels that we can apply this pathology to? So this is why talking about compatibility and incompatibility of sign is not enough to understand the relationship dynamics between two human beings and what drives two human beings to engage in the type of relationship dynamics that they engage in. You understand? So we have to look at it. And sometimes that in itself can be quite uncomfortably difficult to look at, because then we have to look into ourselves and see what part of us is so vulnerable that we will let someone else take over. And then what will be the price to allowing that kind of betrayal, self-betrayal? What dividend is there to gain from it? And should one be thinking that way anyway? Because the process of human relationships and human relating should not be based on the contingency that there is a need that you have that I need, or that I have something that you need. It should be more than that. It should transcend that. Listen, you have to worry about your own security whether you're in a relationship or not. You got to be able to pay the bills, pay the rent, buy groceries, eat. You can't depend on nobody to provide that for you. So when we're dealing with basic needs and basic needs of self, if there's a problem at that level, then being in a relationship doesn't seem a really healthy choice when you don't know you and you are so deficient within yourself, especially if you're young. Because if you're young, then that's supposed to be the case. As you get older, we're supposed to be less deficient and more self-sufficient and more resourceful. Something that we can bring to the table. The problem with the sadomasochism is that it is another aspect of codependency that deals with inequality. But this time, the inequality that we're talking about here is not substantive. It's not about material. It's about inner quality, inner worth. Well, I deserve to be treated like shit. I'm nobody. It's only me. Hi, can I tag along? You know, low self-esteem is noticeable. Many people think that it's not, but it is. It has a vibration. And that vibration can become the the crumbs, like in the woods, to lead to a trail. That could be the crumbs that a predator will sniff. A predator knows what he's looking for in a victim. And a victim gives off the energy, whether they want to or not, that will attract a particular type of victim, predator. There is an unspoken relationship between the abuser and the abused. And it becomes a sense of security and psychological balance for the abused and the abuser. And we know that that is not a healthy relationship dynamic interpersonally between two human beings. So what the fuck brought that on? What brought that on? I'll tell you what brought that on. Traumas that occurred in childhood. That's where it begins. And it could be something very, very simple. Something very, very simple. I'm getting another call, but I cannot take this call. Sorry, I cannot take this call. It's something very, very simple. Very, very simple. For example, let's go back to the concept of religion. The church is the sadist, and the people in the congregation are the masochists. Let's say you're married. You're cheating on your wife. You know it's wrong, but you do it anyway because you're just too good to pass up. Especially if you're younger. But not really. Lust is lust, and it affects us men whether we're young or old. It causes us old men to act stupid, and it causes the young men to act foolish. Because I don't care what you say, the power is still with the pussy. And men are going to always succumb to that box, that prize. That too, if you really want to go deep and look at it, is a form of sadomasochism. You cannot go into that boop boop unless the woman opens her legs. And the woman can want it just as much as you do. But the woman has self-control. The woman has Bina in her. She can control that. And then she can take care of her own self in her own privacy. And she'll be fucking you the way she really want to fuck you in her head. Okay? So she don't even need your body to still fuck it the way she wants to. You know, that's how resourceful and deep and far a woman will go. Men, we are visual creatures. No, we need the thing. We need to see it. We need to see and look. And that's our weakness. But then again, that's how we were created. It was the perfect setup because the sadomasochist relationship dynamic doesn't begin with us as human beings with each other. It begins with God. God says that the flesh is evil, the flesh is bad, and that we need to die in order to go back to Him. And the more we suffer, the longer we suffer, the closer we get to God. That's a fucking sadistic relationship. Don't you think? Is it just me? Judy, is it just me? That sounds to me like a sadistic setup. Look at Jesus Christ. He was fucking hung on the cross and beaten and flogged and made to drink his own blood. And when he asked for water as he was dying on the cross, they gave him vinegar. And the people were happy. They wanted to see him hang and then clear. They loved it. That was a state of masochistic set up right there. But that's not the worst of it. God allowed him to be hung on the cross and to go through the suffering. Jesus, before he died, he said, God, oh God, why hast thou forsaken me? He felt forsaken. It's like God threw him to the fucking bus. So the sadomasochistic relationship dynamic also exists with God and Jesus with us. Give up your riches and be poor and follow me. Oh, we're done with part one. Got too emotional.